Mun Lena, I Michelle Pasangu, ko au kai hotu o te kahui o te Paeroa, RTLB Cluster 34. So I've been asked to welcome in Pidgin English, and I don't speak this anymore, or very often since Mum passed away. So it's been an amazing opportunity this week just to have a go with my sister online and on the phone. So I'm going to welcome in Pidgin, and then I will do a short prayer in Pidgin as well. Hello, everyone. Hemi barava, nice for stop here. Within you fella everywhere. Welcome long Solomon Island Language Week and long All Keta Pacific Fono. Daddy blow me fella lo heaven. Me fella thank you lo every good something you given me fella. Me fella ask him you for stop with him me fella today and long this fella week. Lo name blow you, Jesus, amen.
All right, let's get into it. I'm going to pass the spotlight on to our lovely Violet Hiley from Cluster 9 in Otahu, Auckland. Big shout out also to Cluster 10. Violet, over to you to introduce our first guest speaker.
Thank you, Ben. I'm very privileged to introduce our first guest speaker this morning, Banapa Avatea. Banapa is the principal of Flatbush Primary School here in Auckland, and we're very excited to have you on Tautai Plus this morning, and we look forward to hearing all about your leadership journey. Thank you, Banapa.
Tēnā koutou tēnei ata, kia ora ana, te lopalawa malo lalei, pakalopalai atu, Tinchao, Banaka Levu, Ni Hao Ma. Thank you for having me. Just want to say to Michelle, me taki rā nui nui for that wonderful opening. And what I'll do is I'll begin by attempting to share my screen. What I'd like to open with is just a chance to introduce myself a little bit better. Thank you very much, Violet, for those very kind words as we begin our time together today. You'll see on the first slide, lots of links there. Please, if you'd like to find out more about our school or what we're doing in our space after today, follow any of those four links and it'll show you a little bit more of Flatbush School, our beautiful akona and our amazing community. But I'd like to start with ko waio. So who am I? No kukia rani rawa Ngāti Pākehā. Ko aitutaki te mautiri. Ko tautu toku iwi. Ko te akapoa toku hapu. Ko Rupitama toku papa, rawa Julie toku mama. Ko Avatea toku whānau. Ko Karaka ahau e noho ana. E tupu au e papatoitoi. Ko Flatbush toku kura. Ko Banapa toku ingoa. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā kātou katoa. I'd like to share with our group today, the Flatbush School Pepeha, so you can connect with our space as well. Ko te puki o tara te maunga, ko tāmaki te awa, ko tainui te waka, ko tara te irarangi te rangatira, ko waikato rawa ko Ngāti Whātua, ngā iwi, ko Ngāitai te hapu, ko umapuia rawa ko ihe mātou ngā marae, ko te puki o tara te wahi, ko Flatbush te kura. So today, I'd like to take some time to be able to share how in our school we work towards our whakatauki, which is kia angatu tātou katoa, which is that success for all, and how do we achieve that at Flatbush School. We have now a one-page document, which is our annual plan. So this is the work that we are involved in and engaged in for this year. And as I go through my presentation, I'm going to unpack that for us and how that looks at our school. So you'll see our 4 strategic goals, which are quality teaching, culturally responsive practice, student well-being, and community engagement. And in fact, we've evolved from just from it being solely student well-being to actually being akona and kaiako well-being, and well-being as a whole, not only for our tamariki, but for us all in our school. And to be able to share with you a little bit about what Flatbush looks like, I'd like to just take this chance to share a little clip with you. So just a little bit about Flatbush School before we begin this dive into who we are and what we're doing. So Flatbush School, as was mentioned earlier, we're in the beautiful suburb of Otara. Our school opened in 1964, so we're celebrating our 60th birthday this year. We've got just under 450 tamariki on our roll. We have 17 different ethnicities in our school. However, 90% of those of our students come from four main ethnic groups, which are our Samoan, our Tongan, Cook Island Māori, and our Māori ethnic groups. So we do have a strong Pasifika and Māori representation in our school. And you would have seen that through some of the in the clip that we just shared. When I watched the clip again yesterday, I sort of saw that there was quite a lot of focus on the diversity week and the food that we eat at our school. So, you know, one of the things about Flatbush is that, yeah, we do eat quite well. We have Samoan bilingual classes from years 1 to 6. They are a part of our unit is named Ole Whangawā e Tasi, One Canoe, One Family. And that name was gifted to us by our Samoan parents. So they chose the name for the unit that we have. We are part of the Te Poki o Taramainuku Kahuiako with Rongomai Primary School, Ferguson Intermediate, and also Tangaroa College. So just to give you a little bit of, that's a little bit of background of our school. I hope that if you are ever in Otara, if you're ever at 20 Flatbush Road, you know you are more than welcome to come down and see our school, in person, because while I can share with you videos and clips and that to make it more real, it is when you're here with our beautiful children, seeing, what happens in our school. And I hope the day comes that you will be able to do that. So for us in our school, how do we achieve those 4 strategic goals, or how do we aspire to achieve those goals? We are able to do that through the 8 following ways. And what I'd like to do today is take a little bit of time just to unpack what each of these 8 points look like in our school, just to give you a little bit of a understanding of that while we're together today. So for us, culturally responsive learning, when we look at that, we utilize our curriculum to be able to do so. And in our school, we do that very powerfully through our student inquiry within our language weeks. The theme in our school for 2024 has been that inside all of us is a storyteller, and all of us have a story to tell. And so we have shaped our inquiries across the year around that theme. And navigation has been one of the student inquiries that our children have been engaged in a very powerful way. We've used our language weeks, such as the Samoan Language Week, to be able to develop for our children a wider understanding of not only the language, but also some of the history that are parts of our Pacifica spaces. In our Samoan Language Week for the past 3 years, we've been focusing on the Mo movement. So we've actually helped our children have an understanding of what happened in Samoa and the history of the country. We've been able to introduce very important people within the Samoan history, such as Lawaki, Tamasese, Elasia Pisi, and the story that sits behind that. And it has been a wonderful way for us to be able to not only celebrate the Language Week, but also to be able to study further some of the history of our countries. This year during Cook Island Language Week, we looked at the link between the Cook Islands and our waka that came to Aotearoa. We've looked at the different waka that are connected with our space, such as Takitimu and Tainui. We've looked at the legends that sit behind those waka and some of the pūrākau and the stories that go with it. So that has been part of our student inquiry throughout the past 3 years, and it will continue to grow for us as we move forward. One of the things which you will have seen in the clip has been the growth of our diversity weeks. We've given the opportunities, not given, the opportunity has been enabled for all of our other smaller ethnic groups to be a part of the diversity celebrations that we have in our school. And it's been able to give an equal amount of time to all of our cultures within our school, so that the success for all, the kia angitu tātou katoa, can truly be experienced by all of our learners, by all of their families, and we can do that together. This year, we opened our Samoan bilingual classrooms, and so that has been a wonderful step forward for us. Part of the long-term future for our school is that we'd like to be able to have Tongan bilingual classrooms, and then to be able to have a Rūmaki classroom. So we are working towards that strategically with the support of our community and with the drive that's come from our families to be able to do so. Part of it also in our culturally responsive learning has been the way in which our staff have been able to build their own capacity. We're very lucky. We've got a large number of our staff that are Pasifika and Māori, so we're able to have that base to begin from. But we've also been able to use tapasa. Tapasa has been very important in our school as a guiding document. And as we opened, our Samoan bilingual classrooms, the use of the AFA framework has been very important for us in our school. Te Taiako has been also used as part of our support for our teachers so that we understand our Māori cultural competencies as well. The other part that we pride ourselves on at Flatbush School is that we listen to our akona. They have a voice in what we're doing within our school, and so that they are actually able to be heard as well. And the next is community partnerships. Now, I love this photo because if you have a look at it, you will see that this photo was taken at the graduation of our 2024 Talanoa Ako class. And so in our school, we've been part of Talanoa Ako, the parents program that is supported by the ministry for our Pasifika parents since 2021. Now, what we have been able to do at Flatbush is we adapted the Talanoa Ako program to be able to deliver it in two of our heritage languages, in Samoan and in Tongan. So we adapted it from the ministry program to be able to be in fully Samoan and fully Tongan language. And for our parents, it meant that they had a space in which they could come. They were able to fully engage in either Samoan or Tongan, and if needed be, English. I would do my best to be able to be that deliverer. I am, again, very fortunate here at Flatbush that two of my teachers were able to step into that space to be our tutors. And in this photo here, you'll see our local Member of Parliament, the Honourable Jenny Salesa, who joined us for the graduation day. Not only do we have our Talanoa Ako program going at Flatbush School, but we have other really lovely connections with our community. We have strong relationships with the Zhu Chi Foundation, which is one of our local Buddhist temples, and also the Foguang Shang temple in Botany. And both of those groups are very supportive of our school, and they provide for our Akono another perspective of looking at not only the world that we live in South Auckland, but beyond. So we are able to be a part of the Foguang Shang initiative, where they focus on the three goods and the three goods and four giving, and that's been something that every year gets we're lucky to be a part of and get stronger as we're involved in it. Not only do we have community partnerships with those groups, we also are connected with Sistema Aotearoa, which is meaning that our children are able to be part of after-school music lessons, but also in school as well, where our children, who are incredibly talented, as I'm sure you well know, and they get to be able to learn how to either play the violin or the cello, and then they perform at an end-of-year concert in Term 4. So this week we've had that concert, and we had 22 of our Year 2 and 3 students as a part of that. We're also working quite closely alongside Ngāti Tamaoho, which is one of our local iwi. Otara is a very special place. We have a number of iwi that are connected with Otara, and we've been able to work alongside Ngāti Tamaoho and Ngāi Taiki Tamaki as we worked to be able to understand the story of our own space. So we have been able to unpack and understand the space, the whenua in which Flatbush School sits, and the history behind our not only our school as such, but going back to the times pre-Treaty of Waitangi, Tiriti of Waitangi, and be able to share that with our children. So as we have looked at the New Zealand History's curriculum, we have started in our own space. We localized it into Otara, into Flatbush Primary School, and then with the support of Ngāti Tamaoho and Ngāi Ki Tamariki, we've been able to tell that story more accurately and more effectively. The other partnerships we have, which go beyond the school gate, include being part of the Whangasā Samoan speech competitions. We encourage our children to be a part of these opportunities outside of school. And in fact, this year, we've been very successful in our Samoan speech competitions. Our children participating in the Samoan speech competitions. We also compete in the participate in the Tongan speech competitions as well. We also have strong partnerships with our local health organisations, Mana Kids, South Seas, which provide us with the opportunity to be able to have our nurses in school as well. And also, as part of the Otara Principals Association, we're able to continue to have connections with our local schools beyond those that are in our kawiako. So our community partnerships within Flatbush School enable us to be able to stay connected with our families, be able to respond to, matters that are occurring in our community. And it just strengthens us in a way that when we go forward, we go together. And if you get a chance later on, you can have a little look at the clip that we've put up there for you as well in regards to community partnerships. So, Akano at the centre. So I talked about our curriculum and how we have adapted it within our inquiry. Part of that curriculum as well within mathematics, we are one of the schools that is involved in DMIC, so developing mathematical inquiry communities, also known as Pacifica Maths, or also known as Bobby Maths after its creator, Roberta Hunter. That has been a very powerful way in which we have been able to harness our children's, not only their cultural capabilities and cultural strengths, but also the way in which we work together in our school. Our children, they're fantastic at working in groups. They're fantastic in working together, supporting each other, and showing that that ability to be able to support each other during learning, and we've been able to do that very, very well. Part of it also too has been the way in which we've connected with our families, our whānau and our ainga. So one of the things which we do at our school, which I think is very special, is that Flatbush School doesn't have parent-teacher meetings. We have what we call our celebration of success. So 4 times a year, our whānau will come into school and they will celebrate the success and the achievement of their child. They will have that opportunity in terms 2 and 4 when we're sharing our mid and end of year reports. But throughout the rest of the year, they will come through and we will share the successes that our children have had. And we will find those moments that we will be able to celebrate with the families. So when we look at what the traditional parent-teacher conference, meeting, 3-way, whatever the term is that schools used, we found that actually we were missing the moment, which is to celebrate our success. And so within our school, we will have a common language that goes across, which is the celebration of success. Our certificates, our awards that we give out at team assemblies are all aligned with that. And so that every moment and every chance we get, we celebrate our akona, we celebrate the success that they have had, and we build that through the opportunity that we have every single day. And that way, we are going to ensure that anything deficit is left outside of our school. We want our teachers and we want our children to be operating in a space where they experience success on a daily basis. Now, to be able to do that is hard. To be able to, in all honesty, be doing that day in, day out takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of time. But that is what our teachers and that is what our staff engage in. So that's one of the things which I think within the time that I've been here at Flatbush School that I'm really, really proud of. One of the things which we also have within our school is a strong pastoral care team. We're very fortunate. We have a full-time social worker. We also have a school counsellor. We have a school counsellor 3 days a week, which is a part of our pastoral team. And now for our for our RTLBs, the word Senko, you all know Senkos really, really well. We have a full-time Senko as well. So our board of trustees have invested into that, the opportunity for us to be able to have a full-time Senko as part of our pastoral care team. Within that team are also our whānau, our kaiako and our akona when appropriate. And part of that pastoral care team, it also includes now the engagement worker in schools, which is aligned with attendance. So we've created a team of people that work together with the intention that the outcome will be that our children and our whānau are given the appropriate support where and when we can, and hopefully at a speed which is appropriate as well. I did talk about DMIC. We also have been able to build not only our mathematics program through that learning communities, but also within our reading and our writing. Still a lot of work to do in our school, but I know that we will get there. And if you get a chance, there's a clip that goes with each of those areas that we're working on. So bilingual and multilingual support, as I talked about with our whangasa, you'll see here are our students that participated in the New Zealand, the national Samoan speech competitions in term 3. You'll see that the 3 of our young men that are holding certificates were place getters, and we also had one of our young Sharma was one of our students who participated as well. And in fact, one of our boys in year 5 this year, he actually came first in the year 6 competition. So, which is a pretty big achievement for a year 5 in a year 6 section. One of the things, though, that we will talk about today is our celebration of our language weeks. The way in which we've done that across our school and across our past few years has really given an opportunity not only for us within our school, but our families coming inside to be involved in that. So I would say that the strength of our Talanoa Ako program, the connection with our families, is a direct has a direct relationship with the strength of our cultural weeks. So as we've built into those, not only have we been able to strengthen our weeks, but also our Talanoa Ako, and then as a result of that, our parents, our Samoan parents, absolute drive for bilingualism in that space. Now, as I said, with our Tongan parents being a part of Talanoa Ako, they are now beginning to show to us that is what they would like to do as well. Not only within our Pacifica languages as well, but in our school, in the honouring as a tiriti partner, we have across our school worked very, very hard to ensure that our Te Reo Māori and our Tikanga Māori practices are tika. We've had a number of our staff that have been a part of Aotearoa Te Reo Māori, and in fact, we've had some of our kaiako, in levels I think levels 2 to 5. So in our school, we've actually been able to, ensure that we honour te riti by the way in which we engage with our Māori whānau, but also in all things te ao Māori. And in our school, you'll come in and you'll see that every day we start with our school karakia. We have our karakia before we eat. We have wonderful celebrations for matariki, te wiki o te reo Māori. And, we have there also, we have a kapa haka group that is not quite matatini ready, but I think in a way wouldn't be too far off really. So yeah, we've actually done quite a lot of work in that space as well. Te reo Māori is taught across our school and also as part of a specialised program within our classroom release teachers role. So those are all things that are working very well for us. We have a large number of our students who are ESOL that are a part of their ESOL register, and we also have programs there. We have a ESOL teacher that provides for that group and for our teacher aides guidance in how we deliver that. I did talk about our parental and whānau engagement in language. And in fact, part of what makes us Flatbush School is that. So those community partnerships, I will go on about that a fair bit, I suppose, but that enables us to be able to do what we do. We get some very strong support from some of our community organisations as well. When I think about it, Whakatautua is one of the organisations that is involved in our school as well. So in fact, one of the strengths of our space in our community is our visibility. And yeah, I guess it's the strong support that comes from outside, inside, and enables us to do what we do while we're here. I'll just skip this. Professional development. This is the I guess the nuts and bolts that has helped us to be where we are today. And so where Flatbush School was in 2019 is very different than where we are today. And what I'll share with you is that in 2019, we had to be brave and courageous enough to be able to be very open in where our learning in classrooms was at. And so to be a bit more specific, what I will share with you is that when we did some of our observations in our classrooms, we noticed that, in fact, there was a disconnect between what our teachers were teaching and what they thought our children were learning. So the clarity that was necessary between our children understanding why they were what they were learning and why they were learning it wasn't there. And our teachers had to be brave enough and supported enough and encouraged to actually understand that the clarity that we needed within our learning programs wasn't there. So we undertook I guess you could say a journey into assessment for learning. And we based that work around Michael Absalom's Clarity in the Classroom. And what we were able to do was to improve not only what our teachers believed were the necessary next steps, but our Auckland's understanding of the why. And so that was a big piece of work that we had been involved in. It took us probably 3 or 4 years to be able to do that. And while we were doing that, it really involved us being able to be more adept at being able to use our data to inform our instructional practices. And so professional development in our school at that time and for a number of years involved us actually being able to interrogate our data more accurately and then be able to support our teachers to use that data to be able to truly identify our Akono's learning gaps, and not only their gaps, but their strengths as well. So part of that work and that training supported our teachers to tailor instruction to meet the specific needs of our Akono, and allowed us to be able to introduce targeted interventions rather than, no, I'll just leave it at that. Targeted interventions and personalized learning strategies that, in fact, have seen us being able to improve outcomes for our learners. Alongside that, of course, has been different initiatives that the ministry have started to bring into schools. Structured literacy is one of those. Our year 0 to 3 teachers have been a part of the structured literacy PLD that the ministry have presented for us. So we'll look forward to seeing, the outcomes from that. But our professional development that we have aligns itself with our professional growth cycle. So within Flatbush Primary School, we have our own version of the professional growth cycle. And what that actually involves is our teachers are able to identify the areas of their practice that they would like support in. We've also, during the time that we were working through assessment for learning, we developed our growth coaching model in our school as well. And so our growth coaching model, every one of us has been part of that. So every teacher that comes into Flatbush School, part of their induction into our school is that they will be able to attend the professional development for growth coaching. And what sits behind that is the belief that all of us have strengths that we can share, and all of us have the ability to be able to coach each other. Now, that means that I can go to a staff member, and if I need support or if I need to be coached, they can do that for me, or they can ask of me to be their coach. Surprisingly enough, not many people ask me to be their coach, but I guess that goes with the title. But in fact,
Wonder why,
it probably does. Ben, you and I can sit and we can coach each other if you like.
Okay. We'll start next week.
The idea there is that it isn't the number of years that you've had in the classroom or you've worked in a school. It is that we truly value what each of us brings. When you get the chance to come into our school, I'd like to take you into our library, and I'll show you our wall. In our library, we have a wall, and it has every staff member's photo in it, and that's support staff, every person, office staff, our caretaking staff, and it has a photo, our photo, and it has the things that we are able to share and that we're good at, that we can share with others. And that talent wall is one that we go to quite often, because what sits behind that is that when we were looking at professional development, we as a school would often look externally before we looked internally. And so at times we were missing the fact that some of our needs could be met by the staff that we already have. And so what we've been able to do is utilize the strengths that each of the individuals in our school has to offer. And we've done it through the growth coaching framework, because it gives us a nice, I guess, a safe way to work through when we are coaching each other. So our professional growth cycle involves 2 coaching conversations a year and also 2 practice analysis conversations, which is a observation of our teaching practice within our classrooms that is then aligned with what the teacher has identified as the area for development. And so we have found that over the past 2 years that has been very well received by our staff. It has meant that although there is still an observation element to it, that we are looking at showing and honouring our teachers and what they bring into the classrooms as their teaching practice, and hopefully in a small way to take a little bit of that fear of observation that's, can sometimes exist within that moment. And so our professional growth cycle basically aligns itself with what we're doing within our professional development as much as possible. But for us within our school, we will finish every year. So what will happen in week 9 is that our teachers are invited to meet with myself and other members of the senior leadership team to be able to celebrate their year. So as our children and families celebrate their successes with the classroom teacher, we also have the opportunity for our teachers to be able to celebrate their successes with us. And that is a really, really, it's a lovely moment. We not only celebrate our successes, but we also begin to build an idea of what will be next year's professional growth cycle goals. So it's that iterate cycle of inquiry that in fact never ends, because teaching itself as a it's a real it's an art that is forever being added to, and for us, I think in our school we've been able to create something that fits for us.
Awesome.
You'll see some photos there. We also have done our a couple of our professional development days with Rongomai Primary School, who are another one of our members of our kawiako, but are in fact actually very good friends of Flatbush Primary School. So we've come together. We've done some work on the curriculum, the new curriculum, and some of the the new learnings for us there. And also we did a little bit of work on the science of learning, which is which was pretty heavy, to be honest with you. However, we tried our best to work our way through that. But having the opportunity to work with another school was very special. And if you know Otara very well, you'll know that it was a loud and raucous occasion with lots and lots of laughing, sitting alongside lots and lots of learning.
No surprise there.
Just moving over here. The learner as a whole, it's really, really important for us as a school that to be able to achieve kia angatu tātou katoa successful, that we also recognize that our akona, they are amazingly talented in so many, many different fields, not only in our academics, but also in our sporting, cultural, within, the artistic areas. We have such a, wonderful opportunity in schools to be able to promote that and develop it. And at Flatbush, we're no different than any other school. We're looking at the different ways in which we can ensure that our children are experiencing success. The couple of photos I put up here are of our most recent sporting teams going out. And they were a part of the county's Manukau Games at Bruce Pullman Park in Papakura. On the left, which is probably your right, is our tag team, and on the other side is our touch team. And they played, I think, three days worth of games, and both teams came home with the gold medal, which, although it's nice to have the gold medal, that's not the only outcome that we celebrate. We celebrate their ability to work so very well in a team, to support each other. Sport, again, is another opportunity and another vehicle to test yourself, to be a part of something beyond yourself. And that's really important for us here at school, is that our children not only, realize that they are a part of the classroom, but they're part of a school. They're a part of a community. They're a part of something that's bigger than just them. And that's where sport has been really valuable for us in that way. Our children, as I said, they're amazing. They just need the opportunity to show that amazingness. I'm not even sure if amazingness is the word, but I'm sure somebody in the chat will tell me if it is or it isn't. The other part of our school that we're really, very, very proud of is our music program. So we have a wonderful music program here at Flatbush Primary School. We have a school choir, we have a school band. I did share we have our school kapahaka, and we have we're very, very fortunate. We have a dedicated space for our music to be able to be held. So we have a music room, which when you come to visit, I'll take you through, and I'm sure we'll be able to show you a little bit of what that looks like in action. So the learner as a whole, knowing that all of our wholes contribute to making a wonderful school. And if you do get a chance, you'll be able to see that clip of our kids in action. Coming towards the end, strong leadership and vision. I think that's really important in any school. And for us in our school, one of the things that I'm really appreciative of is my senior leadership team and the way in which we work together. We have a strong team. We have a team, quite a traditional team. We have an associate principal, a deputy principal, and myself. Then we have our team leaders. Then we have our classroom teachers. We have our curriculum leaders. But each of us have the opportunity to contribute and be a part of what our school vision continues to aspire to be, which is kia anga tū tātou katoa. Part of that strong leadership team is knowing that through any school year, there will be challenges that come into school. There will be, moments where, we need to really work very, very closely together and very carefully to ensure that the decisions that we are making are ones that we can feel comfortable and confident that are in the right direction. But no, you'll see the photo there of us with one of our teachers. That is the wonderful Mrs. Yogi Modley, who this year celebrated her 80th birthday, and our school attended her birthday. And it was a lovely occasion because Mrs. Modley has been a part of our school since 1986. So she has taught here for that amount of time. So, yeah, for me and for our school, I know that we'll continue to work with our community to be able to deliver ultimately what we said is our aspiring vision for success for all.
Awesome.
And then the last, and I think, many of us will say the most important, element within our school is the alofa, the araha, and the love that we have. The love that we have, not only for our children and their whānau, but our love for our community, the love we have for our school, and the love that we have for each other. One of the things which we are, I'm really proud of is at our school is that we're not afraid to tell each other that we care about each other and that there is love in this space. And you'll see there in those two beautiful photos, it's pretty much captured in those two photos. And although, life at times can be challenging, with love within that space, I'm sure that, our school will continue to go on and, not only be a great school, but be in an even greater school as we move into the new year. And so for me, love underpins everything we do within our school. And, when you do come for a visit into Flatbush School, you'll have that opportunity to experience it firsthand and to feel it because that is who we are. And so I guess at this point in time, I can say, me taki rā nui nui kia manawea, ngā mihi nui kia koutou katoa, because I've been talking to myself in my office for about the last little bit. Ben's probably been the only voice that I've been able to hear. But ultimately, if you ask my staff, they'll probably say, yes, this guy, he doesn't mind talking to himself a fair bit. So I'm coming towards the end. And I guess, Ben, now we have the opportunity, if I stop sharing my screen, to answer any questions that may have popped up in the chat.
I got to say, before I actually go into the question part, everything that you've actually shared this morning is actually part of who we are as RTLB. All the subjects you touched on, all the values you touched on, the principles, and it's quite inspirational for us to hear that actually the school is living that And you're right. At the end of the day, it's all about love. We love our community.
Mm.
You touched on community engagement, which is also quite important. It's about our konga, but it's also about how the schools engage with our community. And I think
Mm.
your school's a really good example
Mm.
of how things can be done, especially in our Pacific space. Yeah. So thank you,
Oh,
Panapa.
you're welcome, Ben.
Yeah, I know there's I think the delay is on my side, but it's okay. We'll work through it. Even though we don't have any questions in the chat, I think everyone here actually found some real actually I know they found real value in this on what you shared this morning. So and of course I love listening to you. And another thing is if I can say that I did do I did go into your school quite a bit when I was doing casework there, and there's not a day where I never felt unwelcome.
No.
The school was always open, full of love. The kids were amazing. The community, I think one time I went to a couple of language weeks and just the celebrations from the community, just amazing. And I think a lot of people are going to take you up on that invitation, mate. They
Well,
will take you up on that invitation.
what I always say, Ben, is if you're having maybe not the greatest day, go into the new entrant year one class and spend a little bit of time with them. And no matter what is happening, when you leave there, you will leave different than when you arrived. You'll feel a lot more uplifted maybe than you were before you walked into the room. And thank you for those words because yeah, that's Flatbush, and I mean that is the Flatbush we're proud of. That's the Flatbush we love. And I hope that, if there are some of our colleagues that would like to, that they have the opportunity to come and spend some time with us because I can, share these photos and these videos, but our children are 100% real. They every day will tell you how it is. They will tell you if they like something, they'll tell you if they don't like something. So there isn't really, any day where I'm not amazed by just who my young people are. And, they go on and they do some amazing things in their lives. But we always talk about Flatbush forever. So we will ensure that they experience that success, but we will finish most of our assemblies with, that little catchphrase, which is Flatbush forever. You may see the t-shirts and the hoodies and all that around. That's our brand. They pop up from here to, time to time on different YouTube clips. Not only Flatbush ones, but others as well. So yeah, I mean, we are very proud of our school, as all schools are, as all staff are. But Ben, thank you very much for that. And no questions is good questions in term 4. Tell you now.
It is. Yeah.
I won't argue with that.
Yeah, no, probably one thing. What you talked about community engagement. What are some of the strategies that would help RTLB? Because you're very familiar with our service. I mean, we
Yeah.
get a lot of RTLB coming into the school to help out with learning, with behaviour, with kids with additional needs.
Yeah.
What are some strategies for RTLB that could help them engage with their community, with their parents?
Yeah, I just
Especially
think,
if we're talking about our Pacific community.
yeah, absolutely. I just think at the end of the day, for RTLB coming in, ensure that when you're going into that meeting with the families that, they know who you are and they have some understanding prior to the meeting as to what they're coming into so that they don't feel like they're coming into it blind. Because at the end of the day, sometimes that disconnect is by, no one's fault, but it could have been, we could have made sure the connection was already there. So our Senko's, our Senko, her role is to ensure that our families know exactly why they're coming to that meeting and to know what the intention of the meeting is. Not just to sign a piece of paper, but to actually have that opportunity to engage. Now, that means that for some of our whānau and our ainga and whānau, that they need to have another person, not just mum or dad, in that room with them. Of course, that's okay. Bring the people in that are going to be able to help to make that meeting the most purposeful. Because one of the things which, it's a little bit of a cringe is when you have one meeting, but you have to have another meeting after that to, cover what could have been, basically ticked off in that meeting. So that's my encouragement to make sure that, everyone is very clear about the purpose so that when they come into the meeting, there's intentionality. and that you actually are able to use that time really, really well.
That's amazing advice. That's actually really good advice. And a big shout out to Lisa Garcia from Cluster 10, who is actually the liaison for your school, and
Yes.
to Julie. Julie, you've got an amazing Senko, and she fights, she fights every ground for that, for supporting those kids out there, and
Yeah.
also for supporting your tamariki. So, and the whānau too. Banapa, I'm going to hand it over to Violet, who will do the formal thank you for us. And thank you so much
You're
for your
welcome,
time today.
Ben.
Thank you
Oh,
so
good,
much.
brother.
Violet.
Ben, you kind of said a really good thank you there, but yeah, just thank you, Banapa, for your presentation today. You've taken us on an amazing journey, sharing what your school is all about. And you've left me with the impression that you, as a proud leader of Flatbush School, that you value and respect every single child, parent, staff member that is part of your school. And as you said, love underpins everything that you do at your school. So thank you so much for sharing your journey with us today. Whawhitai tele lava.
You're very welcome. Thank you, Violet. Oh,
Thanks. That's awesome.
all right.
Thanks, Banapa. Thank you again, mate. Oh, look, I'm going to let you go. You're welcome to stay if you'd like, but I think you deserve a coffee break.
Yeah. I just give a big shout out
No,
to my friend Sani, who's following.
yep, no, she'll be in good hands.
Yeah, Sani will stay on right to the end, right to the end.
Oh, great. That's good to hear. Thanks again, Banapa.
Awesome.
Thank
No
you.
problem, Ben. Thank you very much.
You take
And
care.
all the best to everyone for the rest of the term, and Meri Kirimiti.